music. Music is a language related to our feelings rather than words. I found a brilliant quote which I wanted to share with you. Music rhythms are life rhythms. And music with tensions, resolutions, crescendos, diminuendos, major and minor keys, delays and silent interludes, with a temporal unfolding of events, does not present us with a logical language, but to quote Langer, it reveals the nature of feelings with a detail and truth that language cannot approach. I think it's a stunning quote. That's from a chap called Langer, actually in 1951. So let's look at that on a neurobiological basis. Music does involve activation of the entire brain, pretty much from the top of your spinal cord right the way up to the top of your thinking brain. But when we think about language, it used to be thought that music was processed by the language system and that was it. Because we now know that's not true. Music's processed by your pretty much entire brain. But there is a part of the language system here which is called Broca's area. This just below it is the temporal lobe, which is where we carry our emotional, or a large part of our emotional processing. And Broca's area is this area that sits here. And it is the part of the language system that's involved in music understanding. Music in terms of hemispheres, if we look at the brain head on, so this is the front of the brain, so obviously this is the right hemisphere, and this is the left hemisphere. So right hemisphere can be considered our emotional hemisphere. It deals in the concreteness of the present, because our main evaluator of threat is our right amygdalas, and our right amygdala needs to perceive things without imagination, without being creative. So if it is a black panther charging at you, you're not going, oh, look, how lovely. It's like a nice pussycat. It's not, it's a panther. And your right amygdala is saying, no, we need to run away from this or do something which will protect us. Like, for example, if we've got a nice big gun, then we can shoot the poor old panther. Who at the end of the day is just protecting its territory. Really? Okay. So right hemisphere is where we process the emotionality of music, things like the rhythm, the melody, and all those sort of things. Left hemisphere, which is our main language hemisphere, 93% of our language is processed in the left hemisphere, actually deals with the language of music, so the words and the lyrics, and also thinking about music in a way that requires words. Very interestingly, when an amateur, i.e. a non-musician, listens to music, they listen to it with predominantly the left hemisphere, though obviously with all that processing going on in the right hemisphere. Professional musicians, when they hear a new piece, initially listen to it with the right hemisphere and then process it with the left. And of course, that's Gestalt. Your right hemisphere does Gestalt that moment by moment evaluation of the environment to check it for threat or reward. And in a professional musician, they've already trained the right hemisphere to grasp in the moment the music and build an instant emotional picture of it, dealing with all the things that I talked about at the beginning, like major and minor keys, delays, diminuendos and crescendos, and all those things. In a professional musician are gestalted first, and then, if necessary for performance, they'll then work out or think with their left brain as to how they want to perform that piece. The final note for this is that this concept of music being processed in Broca's area here has led to an interesting hypothesis that, in fact, our ancient Homo ancestors developed a tuneful sound-making system as a language before words and more complex concepts came into place. Yeah, that seems a perfectly reasonable idea to me.